China reaffirms crypto ban, what it means for SWIFT, as in Swift blockchain, not the traditional SWIFT. Back with Rue once again on this one. We're going to get into why this new update matters to you and what it pertains to some other things like Tron and a key familiar project that I cover all the time. So let's start off first with this announcement from Swift Blockchain. Decent Wallet has a Black Friday sale. You can get up to 40% off, and this runs from November 20th to December 3rd. Take advantage of this. This is the most bang for your buck. This is the biggest sale of the year, and as you see here, the wallet that has it all, security and simplicity, the best deal. Decent biometric wallet. The 2X package is literally 40% off, and if you look at it, that's down from $318 all the way down to $189, which brings it at 94.5 each. That's a huge, huge savings. If you choose to get one, that has gone down significantly from $159 to $109. But again, the 2X package is the best bang for your buck. You'll also get free shipping. Pick you up a decent wallet today. Secure your assets. If you don't have them stored in a wallet and sitting on exchange, then you're at risk. So pick you one up today. And basically, it's this right here. And what is it all about? Well, they point out this, and it's basically them mentioning Tron. Now, we know that Tron plays a big role, integral role to Asia, China, Southeast Asia, all these areas, right? But it says stake TRX on Bridgers and earn steady on-chain rewards of up to 13% APY. That's a lot. Let your assets move even when you don't. And again, they mentioned Bridgers through their native dApp, which is dApp.bridgers.xyz. We know that here in America, if you want to use this, let's face it, you can't really go to it. You would have to use something like a VPN and whatnot. But they did post this on November 26th. Now, why am I highlighting this specifically? Here's why I'm going to get into this. A little while back, again, posted another thing back on November 12th, kind of pounded this home again. Again, like they said, hey, Bridgers fam, for the share TRX staking, still available on the Bridgers dApp, offering yields up to 13%. This upgrade gives every user new or experienced the chance to grow their holdings with consistent on-chain rewards. So my philosophy is that if you have this ban going on in China, if you think about it, there's still a lot of people that hold these assets, whether the Communist Party of China wants them to have that or not, and they're quickly going to move it to platforms where they can just lock that up, right? And Bridgers obviously allows that to be a thing. Now, if you get more into this, here's where it gets really, really interesting. Here's a brand new report. This is from Forklog. This is, believe it or not, a Russian publication. I've taken the liberty of interpreting this from Russian to English. Forklog points out China reaffirms cryptocurrency's illegal status. China reaffirms cryptocurrency's illegal status, highlighting stablecoin risk. During an interdepartmental meeting, the People's Bank of China reaffirmed its stance on the legal status of digital assets in the country, highlighted the risks associated with the use of stablecoins. The meeting included representatives from the Ministry of Public Security, the Cyberspace Administration, the Central Commission for Financial Stability and Development, the Supreme People's Court, and other regulatory bodies. In the same composition, the authorities imposed a de facto ban on cryptocurrency trading in 2021, but they point out, for example, virtual assets do not have the same legal status as fiat, are not legal tender, should not be, and cannot be used as currency in the market. Well, until it's not, right? Or until it is. Officials also noted the intention to strictly crack down on illegal and criminal activities in this area. And of course, they have this big old meeting. But they also pointed out that local authorities appear unwilling to soften their rhetoric regarding digital assets. In August 2025, Chinese agencies demanded that brokerage firms and research centers cancel seminars, cease publishing studies on stablecoins. And additionally, in September, China Banking Regulatory Commission unofficially instructed several local brokers, maybe some of the brothers, right? Brokers to suspend real-world asset business in Hong Kong. All right, so for one, Hong Kong, we know that Justin Sun and Tron, their ties to Hong Kong. We know it's ties to all over the place. But again, strict regulation, the country share, the Bitcoin mining hash rate exceeded 14%. As of early October, the figure was approximately 145 EHs, increasing 13.8% one quarter. Okay, so that's, again, we're pointing out, right? Well, even on X 21 hours ago, this is reiterated more. And then you see this whole slew of news that comes out, whether it's from Bitcoin Archive, about China and Bitcoin and crypto have no legal status. That you see also here, just the other day, the reaffirmation of this. Again, China says it will not lift the ban on crypto. So again, if it was me, if I was living over there, I'm thinking, all right, where in the world would I just go ahead and lock this up? And then again, enter in Tron. Now watch this. If you go over to tronscan.org, it says specifically, Tron Network adopts the DPoS consensus mechanism. TRX holders contribute to Tron's governance while enjoying APY of up to 3.34%. Why would you want to enjoy 3.34% when you could come over to Bridgers and basically do what? Earn up to 13%. So again, when we talk about, the onboarding, it's also the unloading, right? An off ramp to other platforms where you can lock this up while your country is having, this thing that they're doing basically. To me, it's a no-brainer. I think people of China have realized in the past, especially when we had a temporary unbanning, we saw basically Swift blockchain with the Swift coin explode. I think we hit over 3 cents roughly earlier this year, Rue. But to me, they're going to lock up their coins and they want to get paid the highest yield on it. I want to get some of your thoughts based on this, brother, because I do feel as though all these things are worth pointing out.
Yeah, this is really interesting. I know at Hong Kong went through like some regulations to kind of loosen things up, so it's surprising to see them kind of take a step back. So it'd be interesting now as a Chinese person, you would have to go maybe to Singapore to get this stuff done, and maybe that's the goal. Just route people to Singapore, and that's the only place that they can get it done. If you're a regular Chinese citizen, you may not have the money to go to Singapore to do this. So it would only be for the upper class really to get stuff done, unfortunately. So that's really interesting. But we know from judging from the last video, and we know in the past videos, like Tron and Binance are pretty tight as it concerns that area of the world. And I think Swift blockchain works with both of them very, very, very well. So this in consideration with our other video, definitely catch the first video as well, guys. I think things are looking kind of really great for Swift blockchain, and also looks like they want to be they want to accumulate some Tron. So that looks really well for Tron, and I think it looks really good for Swift blockchain.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I have many friends that are earning every single day trading futures on BTCC. It's a simple process, and even if you don't want to learn how to trade, you could follow a trader on the site and let him do the trading for you. And again, I'm not trying to have any of you guys use your hard-earned money to lose anything. You don't know what you're doing? Don't jump into this, but there is money to be made, and don't use your nest egg for leverage trading. Use a separate portfolio. But I suggest learn how to trade. Earn you some extra money on BTCC. It's easy. You don't have to KYC, and you don't have to use a virtual private network VPN. This is a wonderful site. They've been around since 2011. Give them a shot. Also, when you earn that extra money, you can store that on your Decent wallet. The Decent wallet was not affected by the XRPL debacle, where the backdoor of many wallets was open and there was a breach. So Decent wallet was not affected by that. Decent wallet is as safe as you keep your seed phrase. It's a wonderful product, and you can get the discount by using the link. It's the only way to get the affiliate discount, and that is to use an affiliate link. So that link is popping up on the upper right side of your screen, and it is the one that you will use. You will also get free shipping. Pick you up a Decent wallet today. Secure your assets. If you don't have them stored in a wallet and sitting on an exchange, then you're at risk. So pick you one up today. Thank you. Thank you for that perspective, Rue. Something we're going to jump more into that you may have never heard of or seen about is this news that we got for you. So for one, I want to point this out. It originally came from a very familiar platform. You guys are familiar with Guy and Coin Bureau. Coin Bureau originally posted this on March 29, 2023. You're going to quickly see where we're going with this. So let's pull this up as well. In the publication, it mentions this specifically. And what's this? says Wanchain is no doubt one of the most interesting smart contract blockchains to come out of Asia, at least at the time. The main objective of the project is to create financial market of digital assets by facilitating cross transfers from one blockchain to another. However, this seems to be the main objective of numerous projects. How does Wanchain separate themselves, and how could we eventually see the project progressing? In this Wanchain review, they take a deep dive analyzing the technology as well as the prospects for the WAN token. Yes, they actually have a token. Now, why point this out? Kind of seems like it just went out in left field, right? Here's why. I had no idea that Swift Blockchain's Ramble, who's also the chairman of the North America Blockchain Association, as we know, NABA, is also an advisor to Wanchain. That's incredibly interesting because the Wanchain token is used to pay cross-chain verification nodes when making transactions. Wanchain launched back in October 2017. They raised $36 million. Also, like Swift Blockchain, the tokens were initially ERC20, and they have been moved away from Ethereum blockchain to their own, allowing users to convert ERC20 tokens to WANs. Of course, they have competitors like anything else, right? Now watch this. This gets really interesting. This is a finding, and I want to give a shout out to Quant for. Wanchain is a member of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, who is also a member of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, the Quant network. And check this out. Some of the contributors, you see Thomas Arjano of MIT, who's collaborated with the Quant network. We see Roberto Dursky from Stellar, and we see Dr. Luke Riley, literally a Quant, as I point out here. And again, this publication was originally from September 2024. Also on top of it, here's Wanchain. Some people say it looks like a freaking rug pull. Draw your own conclusion, but they do have a max supply of 210 million, circulating supply of 198.74 million WAN. Do I get more into a deep dive about this? Maybe. But check this out. All-time highs was back in 2018. Then in 2021, they did have their own, I guess you could say, bull run. It went as high as 226. But this thing crashed all the way down to 0.055 only 2 months ago. And we're still near the bottom for this. Now, this gets even more interesting. On a private Zoom call, don't ask where Quant gets some of the stuff. It's just, it is what it is, okay? He has crazy stuff. You have this person who's Weijia Zhang, and what's interesting here is it mentions cross-chain ID specification, and one of the persons that is part of this is the gentleman you see in the photo, who's Weijia Zhang. You see Thomas Arjano, again, MIT, Quant Connection, IETF, Internet Engineering Task Force. Bottom part, Alex Chirac, who's also part of the Quant network. You see photos of all three of these guys doing Zoom meetings. Again, it is what it is with Quant finding some of this stuff. And then on top of that, you see here from Wanchain officially, wanted Dr. Weijia Zhang on cross-chain technology, blockchain security. And again, it seems very similar when you think about like Swift Blockchain. You have cross-chain technology with bridgers, 400 plus different bridges to you name it, right? Stellar, obviously your Quants, your Ripples, on and on and on and on. And when we find more about all this, again, Internet Engineering Task Force and Secure Asset Transfer Protocol, which Quant Network has a role in. All this is incredibly interesting because, again, it's kind of like birds of the feather do flock together. If anything, they do have private Zoom meetings. And last but not least, just in case you wonder about Alex Chirac, he's the engineering lead over at the Quant Network with over 10 years of certified experience in the blockchain industry. Alex has supported Quant on distributed ledger research since 2017. So again, think about when Wanchain came out. Again, think about, for example, Swift Blockchain when they originally came out. And look at this, since joining Quant full-time in 2018, he has led the development of the XRP Ledger connector for Overledger V1, transitioning into a leadership role with various distributed ledger technologies under the Overledger umbrella, including Corda, Hyperledger Fabric, and Polkadot's Layer 0. really big find, in my opinion, because it ties in, Rue, so many things that we cover quite a bit. And to see what's going on with China, and you see all the biggest players, what they're doing, again, I think they're preparing for a cosmic shift for when China, whenever they get around to officially joining the rest of the world, which I do think they want to join the rest of the world, but they're timing it strategically speaking. And again, people are going to find the platforms where they're going to lock up their coins or their tokens and get the biggest yield. Is it going to be through bridgers? Is it going to be through TRX? I don't think so. 3% compared to 13. If it was me, I'd be like, hey, I want 10 more percent. So I know you have someone you want to share about this. Take it away.
Pretty interesting. Could this be XRP's connection to Quant in China via Wanchain? A lot of the connections seem to be there. That would just be speculation on my part, but you know, you got the Quant connection, you know, Swift, we've gone over it before on my channel, and with Max and with Shift Focus Digital and Underdog Research Channel, how Swift blockchain has many connections to XRP, right? So again, since this is like BRICS version of XRP, maybe it connects into Quant, and maybe it would need some tools or some utility or certain bridging programs to connect into Quant, and maybe that could be Wanchain. Maybe that could be Wanchain in certain areas for certain purposes, but hey, the connections seem to be there. This is interesting to think about.
It is interesting to think about because, again, think about like IETF, that stands for Internet Engineering Task Force, and these are the pioneers of the internet dating all the way back to like 1984 and so on. So again, think about like where we're at right now of the adoption of going from like Web 2.6, 2.7 into Web 3. We had the protocols that were built. There's a common denominator, if you will, when it comes to these technologies, and that is basically like recognizing, again, going from email protocols. Again, Gilbert Verdian pointed this out. He said basically you had like 1992, 93, and then soon after that, with Microsoft Windows 95 and so on, you can get into 98, you had that web boom. And then again, when you went to Web 2, you have things like obviously your Facebooks, your MySpaces, or actually your MySpaces, then your Facebooks, and so on. And so many different areas of the world, whether it's Asia or even Japan, right? Especially Japan. Japan missed out on Web 2. They don't want to miss out on Web 3. So, but what is China doing? Why aren't they a part of the mix right now? Again, there's a lot of trade wars going on and so on. So I just think they're strategically doing something that most people aren't really aware of. But whatever the case be, the citizens that hold these tokens and the coins, whether it is BTC, whether it is Swift coin and so on, they're going to park their assets where they're going to earn the highest yield. And I think this is what we see with Swift coin blasting off. And in the other video, we saw the whale accumulating, which of course that plays a big factor too. But again, if you have multiple wallets of people parking their funds or locking it up, this is a win for us, even here in the United States, because it takes those coins or tokens, I should say, out of circulation with a very limited supply to begin with. And I get it. Swift coin is not as limited as obviously Quant, because Quant has roughly 14.5 million tokens, and Swift coin is basically 10 billion. But if you compare, as we know, Swift to like, Stellar, I mean, it's 1/5 the supply, and then even to XRP, it's like 1/10 the supply. So that is a limited supply. I think you had one last thing you wanted to share in regards to specifically Dash, the correlation with,
Yes.
yeah. So go ahead and if you have that ready to go, we want to get into that because it is a big discovery, everybody, because there is correlation when it comes to Zebek and obviously Swiss coin.
Very interesting to show here that Swift blockchain has a partnership with Dash here. Now, if we read it here, it says route now live on Bridger's new listing, route Dash across chains with secure non-custodial execution powered by smart contracts and aggregated liquidity. You authorize reroute, Bridgers, and Dash, which is very, very interesting because if we now go over to Zebek here, you can see here that Zebek also teamed with Dash literally the next day. We're very happy to announce a new partnership, Zebek HQ. Privately spend your Dash anywhere in the world, letting you live off your Dash while we continue to round out the rest of our spending options. We are working on some other big things with Zebek too. Now, remember, we've connected Swift blockchain with Zebek with the Nautilus chain, which Zebek sold, but I still think there are connections there with Zebek and Swift. We know Tim Draper owns Swift through Draper Dragons, and Tim Draper's also invested in Zebek through Coinbase Ventures. So very, very interesting there. They went one way with crypto as far as like, okay, we're going to ban it, we're going to unban it, and we're going to ban it again. It makes you wonder if like they just don't want their citizens to get in on this, right? It merely makes me wonder if like, because when you think about the two nations other than America that their citizens might have disposable income, it's China and the UK, and both seem to be kind of very slowly getting into cryptocurrency. Like they haven't defined anything yet on cryptocurrency, and China has gone the other way to actually ban on it. So seems to me like they're making it very hard for their like non-rich citizens to get in on cryptocurrency, because those who are rich will probably just go over to Singapore and do what they need to do with cryptocurrency that way. So it's a very interesting thing there.
Yeah, it always has been, probably always will be. So that's why we're all paying attention to this. So guys, do us a solid if you listen to the whole thing and simply type in unban China, and we'll know that you listen to it all, because in reality they need to be unbanned, and it would bring in a lot of liquidity to the space. The people are fans of those areas of the world or not, right? So check out Rue's channel over at Black Rue. Check out mine, Maximus Crypto 2690, depending on which platform you're watching all this from. And we do appreciate you guys tuning in. May the Lord bless you all. We'll see you on the next one. Over and out.